So let's talk about how these big banks, ultra rich real estate investors, and whoever else out there, I actually don't know who's controlling the real estate market these days. But let's talk about that group and how they are making it increasingly difficult to own homes. Right. And they got this new what is it? Built to rent communities is the new way that they are trying to trying to trick us out of wanting to ever own homes and to keep us renting for the rest of our lives. Let's talk about that. All right. We'll talk more after. Let's check this out. All right, it's Ricky Rich for Black Primacy. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on your notifications.
The average rate on a 30-year mortgage is now at its lowest level since February of 2023, falling to 6.09%. While that kind of drop could help revive the market for home sales, there's still an inventory shortage delaying the dream for prospective homeowners. But as CBS's Chris Van Cleve shows us in tonight's Eye on America, that shortage is leading to a spike in the home rental market.
About 90 minutes outside Houston, Richard Bellote loves the view from his backyard.
Every morning I get up and I go outside with the dogs and I have a cup of coffee.
But he doesn't own this brand new house. In fact, it's not for sale. His Montgomery, Texas community is part of a rapidly growing trend in the U.S. housing market. Blocks of single-family homes built specifically to rent.
It's a good stepping stone.
Despite saving diligently to buy a home,
the interest rates are just too high to manage.
He and his fiancée feel priced out of their house hunt.
And just really kind of crossing our fingers that those rates go down.
Bellote is far from alone. A July poll found 86% of renters say they can't afford a home, and 54% believe it's unlikely they'll ever be able to. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger.
House prices have gone up by more than 40% in just 4 years. There are a lot of people out there who really want to be in homes, and they just can't afford to get there.
Built-to-rent communities began popping up in Phoenix during the Great Recession to meet that demand.
Wait a minute. Y'all see how small that is? Now, this isn't the home that he's in, but these are like other built-to-rent communities. Look how, I mean, and I get it. Like, well, actually I don't, because this isn't even a something that you were buying. I mean, I would actually understand it a little bit more if this was a piece of property. At least you're getting a piece of property, but this is rent, and you still don't even have a lot of space. What is this? We'll talk more.
And they just can't afford to get there.
Built-to-rent communities began popping up in Phoenix during the Great Recession to meet that demand. People who couldn't buy a home but wanted a house. They are higher density and smaller cottage-sized homes, a literal cottage industry now spreading across the Sun Belt.
3 metro areas are really leading this built-to-rent trend here in the Phoenix area, Dallas, and Atlanta. But nationally last year, nearly 100,000 units were completed. That's an all-time high. And part of the drive behind it, the cost to rent is less than the monthly cost to own.
We're really in the first couple innings of the BTR business.
Brent Long is leading the built-to-rent expansion for Christopher Todd Communities. Wow. He says renters stretch from Gen Z to baby boomers.
It's really renters by choice and renters by need.
If the traditional view of the American dream is you buy a home and that becomes your biggest asset, what does this do to that concept?
I don't think it takes it away. It solves some issues that are out there in terms of affordability, availability.
I just don't want to own right now.
Cassie Wilson rents by choice. Her community outside Phoenix is loaded with amenities, but free of homeowner responsibilities.
Do you feel like you're throwing money away?
No. I can live here in a house that is fully upkept by someone else. I would like to buy a house house out here, but on the flip side, I still want to travel. This is just the perfect in between for us.
While growing, these communities made up only about 8% of new residential construction last year. Housing advocates in Arizona welcome anything that helps address the housing shortage, but argue these communities aren't enough to push prices down. Back in Texas, Richard Belote sees this built-to-rent house as buying time to save.
This gives us the opportunity to live in a nice place, a place that we like, a place that we can treat like a home, and hope that things get a little bit more manageable.
Home sweet home as they wait for a break in the housing market. For Eye on America, I'm Chris Van Cleve in Phoenix.
Look, I don't really have an issue with anything. I mean, at the end of the day, like the first girl or the lady here, I don't think she truly wants to own. She says she wants to travel, and that's how she wants to spend her money, and there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that, but just say that, right? I know a lot of people that say, they don't even they're taking home ownership out of their investment portfolio, and they're just gonna rent. I knew somebody who was worth he was a multi-millionaire, I guess you could say that. I think his net worth was just over 2 million. He never owned a home, right? He just took all his money, and he was he is I just haven't talked to him in a while, in his 60s. And he was getting ready to retire and still living in an apartment worth, like I said, a couple $1,000,000. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Some people just do not want to own, and I think if that's you, this actually could be a decent way of living, right? You got this nice community. It's got a dog park in there. I think I saw a pool earlier. Let's see. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, there's a pool just below there. So you got all these amenities. It's all up. It's all kept up for you. And you don't have to worry about anything. So for that, and the fact that a person doesn't want to own, good deal, right? But I think there's more people that truly want to own. And I feel like these communities, in my opinion, are like the gentleman that was talking first, this guy. I don't think they're ever going to leave this community, even though he says he wants to own. Because the moment, and just my opinion, I feel like the moment that they are able to afford a home, it's going to have to be something that is, that's going to take more work to maintain, right? Because once you leave this community, you're everything that happens is on your dime, right? They're not going to have the same, it's because this is basically like an apartment, but with homes, right? So you get the best of both worlds. You get more space, you get everything taken care of. You got a house and a garage, I believe. I think I saw one. And so once you move into a home that's yours, all of that is gone, right? So I feel like this whole thing is to like trick people into just moving into these built to rent communities, and then just say, hey, you know what? I think I just want to be here. And then you never own. And if you never own, you're never in control of arguably your biggest expense out there. In most cases, your biggest expense is the place you live, whether that be rent or mortgage. In a typical sense, right? Some people they go crazy with other things, but generally speaking, that's your biggest cost to live. And to not have control over that should be scary to people, right? Like, you should be concerned that 30 years from now, you're still going to be getting rent increases as you get in, depending on how old you are now, as you get into your 40s, 50s, 60s, you're still going to be getting hit with increases. And you have no control over that. Then when you get to retirement, if you're doing what most people do, right, then your income becomes fixed. So your income stops, but your rent is going to continue to increase until the day that you die. Why would you want to set yourself up for that? Right? And I don't think people are thinking about that. One, the lady that just says, she likes it and she just wants to travel. Like I said, she's not going. I don't see her even considering buying a house. And then again, I feel like this couple here is going to they're just gonna fall in love with this nice community, and they're just gonna stay there. They're gonna look up. They're gonna have been there for 10 or 15 more years. I don't know how old this guy is, but he looks like he may be in his 40s, maybe, right? So 15 years from now, he'll be getting close to 60. He's not going to want to go buy a house at that point, right? Most likely, he's not going to want to take on a mortgage. So as nice as some of these homes look, I think it's a setup, and I think this is another way to you got all these big companies like BlackRock is a big real estate investment company, and they're scheduled to take over, like, I think it was like 60% of the housing market, right? You got all these big companies in the housing market, buying up everything and really forcing us to reconsider ever having home ownership or land ownership or anything. And that's sad. And that's something that we all need to figure out very quickly before it gets way too out of hand. And let's not fall for these. If you really want to own some property, let's not fall for these types of tricks. All right, just sit where you at, save up. Especially if you're not. I mean, I could see if you need space, like if you're in a dire need for space, and an apartment living or a small house living isn't working for you, then you got to figure something out. But most of us that are out looking for housing, we don't necessarily need a house so bad where we got to do something like this. We just want a house that bad, where we are willing to rent a brand new home versus just thugging it out for a little bit longer, saving up, and getting a home for yourself, right? And again, there's so many reasons why people rent homes. So I'm just on my opinion out there based on what I see that these companies are trying to do, these real estate companies or whoever are trying to do. And so y'all look out for this, all right? Don't fall for it. Okay, y'all let me know what y'all think. All right, it's Ricky Rich of Black Primacy. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on your notifications.